It's really important that we understand what the hips do, in particular in the backswing, because it will really make a big difference into your downswing. On average, 4.8 inches now movement in that direction. Hey golfers, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the hips. Now, this video was inspired by a recent online lesson that I did where I put the golfer's swing into the Sportsbox 3D app and had a look at what their hips were doing. Okay, and the amount of knock-on effects from that was pretty crazy. So what were the hips doing? They were swaying in the backswing. Okay, so in today's video, I want to talk about what a sway is and what implications it has on your golf swing. I'm going to talk about how to diagnose and see if you do have a sway, what the pros hips kind of do during the golf swing, in particular the backswing down into impact, and then also give you a little drill as well. If you are a swayer, this will really help you. Okay guys, so before we get started, if you haven't done so already, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let me know in the comments if there's anything that you need help with in your game. Now let's get started. Okay, so what is a sway or a hip sway? Well, let's use this golfer as an example. When we set up, if you can imagine a point in the middle of your pelvis as being 0, okay? If it moves in this direction in the backswing, that would be minus, and this way would be plus, okay? So away and forward. Now, it sounds a bit technical at the minute, but hang with me. I'm going to show you how to diagnose this as well. So this golfer in this case would start the swing, and by the time they were at the top, the center of this, or you could look at that, that's how it's going to come to diagnosing it here in a moment. This went 5.4 inches away. Now, because this is connected to this, as those hips go this way, the upper body went that way. So we have a reverse spine angle now at the top. The spine pointing, leaning towards a target, which is really difficult to recover from in the downswing. And people will do it in various different ways. Some people will just stay there, rotate on it. You can guess what happens from there. Kind of a big steep over the top. Others will then swing from here at the top and then try and slide those hips and get back, and then really struggle with contact, getting stuck, all these things, okay? So it has a lot of issues, and the problem as well is whenever the hips are moving this way so much, they can't quite turn the same, okay? So we can't really achieve as big a hip turn if our hips have moved that much away, okay? So it's really important that we understand what the hips do, in particular in the backswing, because it will really make a big difference into your downswing. As you've heard me talk about on my channel before, you change stuff in the backswing, you're going to change something in the downswing, and hopefully for the better, okay? So how can you kind of see if you have this hip sway, or if you're a hip swayer, as it's called? So if you're there, video your swing, right? I'm a big fan of videoing your swing and looking for little things like this. Don't get too carried away with it and get down a rabbit hole being super picky. I used to do that. Funny story, I don't like my golf swing, and when people see me hit a ball, they go, oh, your swing's brilliant, but I don't like it. Okay, so nobody really likes looking at their own golf swing, but have a look at some things and make sure you're not doing any extremes, okay? Because, you know, in golf, if something is extreme, it's going to be really difficult to recover from, all right? So what you can do is you can jump your phone up, face on swing, hit a shot, but before, when you hit your shot and you pull your swing into the analysis app, draw a line down the outside of your right hip. Now, make sure it's exactly when the club is about to move, because if you do it here and you're maybe standing over for a second, the camera could be moving if your friend's holding it. If you're on a tripod, you'll be fine. You draw that line. Now, if you get to the top and your hip is excessively outside of that line, well, you have a hip sway. And we're going to talk about the pros in a second, how their hips do actually move to the right. They do sway in the backswing, very small amount, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So jump your swing on camera, look at that line at the top or even halfway back. Sometimes this can happen very early. By the takeaway, you could be outside that line. Then you are a swayer, and you should probably look at trying to get that fixed with the drill we're going to look at in a moment. So here, top, outside, this video is going to really help you. So let's take a little bit of a look at what the pros hips do on average in the golf swing. Okay, so the pros, okay, to average, right? Into the takeaway position, their hips are going to move this way. They are going to sway. On average, 0.6 of an inch. Okay, so it's very, very marginal. Usually that is caused by they'll have a slight kind of pressure shift to the left and then a little bit to the right. And that's what we're seeing. It's not a bang that way, okay? So 0.6 to around about here. Now, as they then approach the top, it's now back to 0, back where they started. Not in terms of turn. They've obviously turned, right? And that's for separate video. But this center point of the pelvis is now back to the position it started at by going a little bit to the right. And right around here, it's going to go back. And at the top, it's going to be back in line with where it started. Now, here's the cool bit. Into the downswing, and again, probably for a separate video. But if we fix our sway, this should get better. We come down, we're going to see, on average, 4.8 inches now movement in that direction. Okay, so 0, 4.8 inches. That's how so it has shifted on average. So there'll be some maybe slightly less and some slightly more, but it's a nice kind of number to think about. Okay, so that's what their hips are doing. So the drill I'm going to show you, if you are a swear, say a chronic swear, I'm going to give you something, and then also just a really cool drill that's going to help you take care of that. We'll talk a little bit about the turn as well. Okay, so let's look at this drill. We're going to use this today, which is the golf airplane. It's actually a really good training aid. It saved me a lot of alignment sticks getting whacked when I'm teaching. So you can pick something like that up, or I'll leave a link in the description. But you can use something like this, or if you're on grass, you can put an alignment stick in. You can use an umbrella, or you're at the range, get a range basket and put your alignment stick in. And what we're going to look for here is that it sits from our setup position, is that it sits just very slightly outside our right hip. Okay, it doesn't have to be touching, tiny little gap. Okay, now if I sway, guess what's going to happen? I'm clearly going to nudge that. Okay, and if you have an object, you're going to hit that object. Okay, so what is the feel and what is the drill? Now, turn is a big thing here. Turn is a big advantage when it comes to this. Okay, like I said earlier in the video, if we're swaying loads, we can't turn as much. All right, so the goal here, start with no ball, just a golf club, get a feeling. You could even start with your arms across your chest to get a feel for this. Okay, so we're setting it up. We're just outside the hip there. Now, exaggeration, big fan of exaggeration, right? When you're doing drills, don't necessarily look for perfect. Push it the other side of it. Really, really important. I did a post the other day about it, and looking at what some of the tour players do when they're trying to exaggerate a move, you would look at it and think, what are they doing? But actually, I hate paying like £25 or $30 for a leather glove because I like the feel of it, and it rips after like a shot. I've had that happen, so annoying. So thanks GX Golf Gloves for sponsoring my YouTube channel. Go and check them out. Really good quality, fraction of the cost, feel awesome. I love them. And use code David at checkout and you'll save yourself a nice little bit of cash as well. It is so beneficial that you push the boundary. So what we're going to do then is, if our bad, remember golf's a game of opposites, if our bad one is that, we're going to work it the other way with some turn. Okay, so the goal is make the gap that you created here, make it bigger. Okay, so let's kind of have some fun with it. We get in here and we're going to make that gap bigger. Okay, I've made that much, much bigger. Right, now look at what my spine has done as well. Am I going to go this way and that way? No, my spine is going to start to go more there. Okay, so again, exaggerated, but you gotta exaggerate things. So try that first. Practice swing, set it up right on that hip, just outside it. Now you think about the pros, remember they're gonna have a tiny little bump, all right, to that point. By the time they get to the top and the hips are turning, this gap will have increased. Okay, now from there we can get into the downswing in a separate video, how to do all of that. But you'd be surprised if you get this move nailed, how much your downswing actually improves. Okay, so definitely do give that a go. I'm going to flip around for anybody that is still watching this. If you are, thank you. If you're long gone, I'll hopefully see you in the next one. But here we're going to flip it around, and you're going to have to look at my rear end. Hope you don't mind. Hope I don't get demonetized on YouTube for this. No, it's all right. Okay. So there. Now I want you to really pay attention to what the hips are doing and sort of my spine as I turn with this, okay? We're not going to go here. So we're swaying and tilting that way. No good. You can see I clearly hit that. Instead, we're going to make that gap bigger. It almost looks like my hips have gone that way, okay? Into there. And it's really going to help your downswing as well. So sorry you had to see that, okay? But it's a nice visual to look at it. And if you ever see tour players' swings from behind, it's quite eye-opening, some of the stuff that you'll see. All right, guys? Listen, if you enjoyed this video, if it's helped you, please let me know. If there's something you need help with, also, please let me know in the comments. And thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next one.